I'd now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Tanja Pajevic. Tanja is the author of The Secret Life of Grief, a memoir, and a book coach who's passionate about helping people share their message with the world. She's one of the faculty of Lighthouse Writers Workshop and has taught at the University of Colorado, Denver, Community College of Denver, and Indiana University. Pajevic is a recipient of a Fulbright Fellowship, Hemingway Fellowship, and Kraft Fellowship. Her writing has appeared in the New York Times, Huffington Post, and Mind, Body, Green, among other outlets. She lives in Boulder, Colorado, with her family. And thank you for joining us today, Tanja. Let's give her a round of applause.
I'm so excited to be here with you today. Just like you, I'm also a first-generation college student, and I know how hard it was for me to get to this point. So I'm guessing that you all worked really, really hard and faced many challenges to get here. And that's not even taking into account the very real challenges of starting college during the middle of a worldwide pandemic. We're celebrating your graduation today, but we're also celebrating your drive, your persistence, and your resilience. I want you to take in what a huge accomplishment this is. Can we please all give each other a round of applause? It's so important to celebrate how far you've come. You know, when I was in your shoes, I would have given anything to be surrounded by other first-generation college students. I had no idea what I was doing. And I remember after my mom dropped me off at the dorms and she left, and I literally had no idea. I was like, how do I find my classes? How do I navigate financial aid? All of it. Because it's hard being the first one in your family to go to college. You don't have anyone to show you the way. And you have to figure everything out yourself. Thankfully, there are programs like this now where you're able to get more support. But for me, being a first-generation college student was really lonely. I had great friends, but they did not get the struggles that I was facing, like how to pay for school. I was always looking for more jobs to be able to pay for my rent, to pay for groceries. And I always knew that I was flying without a safety net. It's not that my family didn't care, they just didn't understand the challenges that I was facing. And so I always knew I had to have my own back. Now, you are surrounded by first-generation college students. You know what that means? It means you don't have to go it alone. So I want you to look around and make eye contact with one person that you don't know or that you haven't met yet. Okay, I appreciate your willingness here. And what I'm trying to show you is that there are a lot of people in this room who can support you, okay? And you may have to reach out and ask for that support. So don't be afraid today and after you leave here to reach out and connect with someone new, right? Especially after you leave UW, you head out into your career and you're in some job somewhere and you don't understand the rules and you don't understand the culture. You know, reach out and ask someone to show you the ropes. Find a mentor. People who inspire you and who lift you up. And you all can help each other, right? Open the door for someone else once you get that job. Community is everything, and it's a lot easier when you're connected to your people. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. My parents immigrated from the former Yugoslavia, and now that war has broken that area apart into 6 different countries: Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia, Montenegro, and Macedonia. But when I was a kid, it was called Yugoslavia. And all my relatives were over there, and all my relatives are still over there. So we spent a lot of time going back and forth. And whenever I was there, I never felt Serbian enough. And then we would come back home to Chicago, and I never felt American enough. I felt like I didn't belong in either place. And as a result, I became a chameleon, switching identities, switching between my different identities depending on where I was and who I was with. Books were my refuge. And when I was growing up, all the books that we read were written by dead white men and Western men, so a very small slice of the pie culturally. So I never saw myself represented in any of the books that I was reading, and that was really hard. Until I got to UW. My freshman year, I took a literature class with Professor Betsy Drain, and she introduced me to 2 of my all-time favorite books: Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God, and Louise Erdrich's Love Medicine. So back then, Zora Neale Hurston wasn't very well known yet. This was a long time before Oprah made her book into a movie. And so these were newer books, and they were a huge shift from how I'd grown up and what I'd been taught. And you know what? Those 2 books changed everything for me. For the first time in my life, I felt a sense of recognition when I read those books. And even though I'm from a different culture, I felt seen. Showed me that it was possible to read a book about someone like me who was caught between cultures and who felt like she didn't belong. And I'd always wanted to be a writer, but I didn't think it was possible until I read those books and I saw that it was actually a possibility. I saw a part of myself represented in those books. So fast forward a few years. Remember how I told you that for most of my life, I felt like I didn't belong? Well, it turns out that that being in between cultures was actually my superpower, because it allows me to see things that other people don't see. So for example, when my mother died, I wanted to learn how to grieve consciously, but I didn't really know how to do it because we don't have here in the US, we don't really have a culture of grief. And then I remember those childhood summers in the former Yugoslavia where my families followed grieving rituals and community came together and supported us and held us. And I knew that it could be different, right? And so I wrote a book about that. I wrote a book about my experience, and it's called The Secret Life of Grief. That's what the gift of being in between cultures taught me. Now, even though your circumstances are probably very different from mine, I'm guessing that you have your own superpower that comes from the very real challenges you've had to navigate. How do I know that? Well, according to scientists, the odds that you are here, the odds that you are even born, are 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion. You are a freaking miracle, right? Every single person here, every one of you here, everyone watching on the live stream. And you know what? There is no one who is exactly like you, who sees the world through your eyes with your experiences. And by that, I mean all of your experiences, right? That is what makes you unique. It's your secret sauce and it's your magic. So don't hide who you are, because the world needs your specific gifts now more than ever. Graduates, can you please stand up? Please humor me for one more moment. look around you. Take a look around you, right? You all are the next generation, the trailblazers, charting a new path and a new way. Congratulations. Thank you.